So you've probably heard the chatter about new US travel rules, right? Well, it turns out these upcoming changes are way more than just headlines about tighter security. There's a hidden strategy going on here, and today we're going to pull back that curtain and look at the whole new logic of traveling to the US.
And this quote, it really gets to the heart of what's happening. Experts are seeing a pattern, a structured logic that most of us are completely missing. So our job today is to figure out that logic so you can actually navigate what's coming next.
And look, this isn't something way off in the future. You're going to want to mark this on your calendar. January 1st, 2026. That's the day these new rules officially kick in for pretty much everyone. Visitors, students, workers. This date is so important because it really is the start of a whole new ballgame for international travel to the United States.
Okay, so let's dive into our first big point here, the unseen vetting logic. The fundamental change isn't just about adding more paperwork or more checks. No, it's a complete shift in how the authorities are looking at you, the applicant.
This slide just lays it out perfectly. I mean, it used to be all about your paper documents, right? Now, it's what some analysts are calling selective organization, and that means a deep, deep dive into your digital life. They're not just glancing at your posts. They're piecing together a whole story about you from who you associate with online and the digital breadcrumbs you leave behind. They're trying to see if that story fits their very specific criteria, whether it's the real you or not.
Now, let's move on to our second point, and you'll see how this all connects. America's border autonomy. This isn't just a small technical tweak. We're talking about a huge philosophical shift. And it's this new way of thinking that gives them the justification to dig so deep into our personal lives.
To really get this, we can actually borrow an idea from psychology, the need for autonomy. Think about it. Just like a person might push back against outside control to feel independent, the US is doing the same thing with its borders. It's stepping away from global travel norms and basically creating its own set of rules. And here's the kicker. By prioritizing its own rules, it feels totally entitled to use its own methods, like, say, intensely scrutinizing your social media.
Which brings us right to our third point, and this one is probably the most personal for all of us. Social media on trial. Your digital life is no longer this separate thing from your official application. It is your application now.
And this brings up a really critical question, doesn't it? Is your online profile the new interview? And the answer, more and more, is a resounding yes. What you post, who you follow, every little digital trail you leave behind, it's all being examined as if you were sitting right there in front of an immigration officer.
There's a name for this process, the digital illusion analysis. It's basically a three-step thing. First, they scrutinize your associations. Who are you connected to online? Second, they analyze your content. What are you talking about and what's the tone? And third, they cross-reference that digital footprint with what you actually claimed on your forms. Any little inconsistency can become a huge red flag. All right, on to our fourth point, which is really the direct result of everything we've just talked about, the new conditional visa. This completely changes your status. You're no longer seen as a welcome guest. Now you're a candidate who has to prove you fit a very specific and honestly an always shifting mold. Policy experts have a term for this, conditional acceptance. What it means is your approval isn't just about your personal qualifications anymore. It's about how well you meet these external criteria like political benchmarks. And that could be anything, your country's current relationship with the US or even bigger geopolitical trends. And since those can change in an instant, you're just not seen as a first-choice visitor by default. This chart really shows you the shift. Look at how the weight given to these big political benchmarks is shooting up. While the value placed on you, your personal merit, is becoming less and less of a factor. It's all becoming a numbers game, and the rules are being written by someone else. Okay, so after hearing all of that, you're probably thinking, well, what on earth can I do about it? And that brings us to our final and I think most important section, your traveler's survival guide. This is where we stop talking about the problem and start talking about a clear strategy.
The absolute key here is to build structured habits for yourself to achieve what you might call internal validation for your application. So what does that mean? It means create a master digital file of all your travel documents so you're always ready. It means maybe once a quarter you do an audit of your public social media. Ask yourself, what would a total stranger think of me based on this? And crucially, make sure the story your digital life tells is the same one on your application. Keep records of every single email, every call, and for goodness sake, double and triple check everything before you hit submit.
And that's really what this all boils down to. In this new system, You just can't rely on luck. You can't just hope the rules will work out for you. The real power is in structured, careful preparation. That is how you take back a little bit of control in a system that feels like it's taking it all away.
So, we'll just leave you with this one last thought to chew on. As our borders get smarter, does that mean global travel is just going to get harder for everyone? It's a huge question, and I think the answer is going to shape how all of us move around this planet. And come 2026, we're all going to be finding out together.